Hi, S&P fans. I'm coming to you from Columbia, Missouri. I'm doing a screen record because I want to point out a few things to get us going this week. Hopefully, you saw the announcement about the group projects and you've taken a look at those instructions, including the scoring and the folders that you'll use, that your group will use to collaborate, will be ready shortly, and I'll post another announcement when those are up and you can start your collaboration. Now, I know some people don't like group projects. You never know if other people in the group are going to hold up their end of the bargain. But I want to assure you that the way this is set up, that much of it is it's what you're doing on your own. The collaboration comes around bringing your own material into the group and discussing it. And so you're producing a lot of the content yourself, and there is an individual score as well as a group score. So hopefully that will ease some of your concerns that if somebody doesn't pull their weight, it's not going to affect your grade. The other thing I want to point out is we have our groups set up. And so you need to go over to the menu and look at group and discussion leader assignments. And that'll tell you what group you're in. And what you need to do is figure out, particularly not just your group, but what week are you assigned to be the discussion leader. So remember, we have an additional role that one time during the semester you're going to be a discussion leader, and you can look at what that means. Look at the instructions for discussions and the rubrics. But week one, for example, everybody on the line for week one is going to be the discussion leader for this week. And then week two, if you're on that line, you're going to be the discussion leader for week two, and so on. So determine when you're going to be the discussion leader and you have a little extra to do. You can help facilitate the discussion within your group. You can then at the end create a summary of highlights, and it's explained in more detail. If you look at down at the assessment where we have discussions scoring. I want to remind you that you have more points in your discussions devoted to your interactions with other members than you do with your original post. So there's 5 points for your original or initial post, and then 10 points altogether for interacting. You're going to be discussing in your small group, so you're going to access here, can access communities and groups. You want to access your group, and this way you'll have just a small number of people that you're discussing with, and I find that makes for better discussions. So I don't go by quantity of responses, so you don't just respond to 2 other people and then leave it. You're supposed to have an actual conversation, so a back and forth. You can ask questions, you can bring in your own experiences, bring in examples, provide further evidence. But you're going to have a discussion, hopefully, like you would have if you were face to face. So that's the goal of discussing in small groups versus discussing in the larger group. So if you have any questions about that, you can email me, of course. I do have office hours this week. If you want to sign up for a time, you go to the Doodle office hours, and then when it's time, you'll go to Google Hangout to meet with me face to face. This week, you're going to be looking at the visual system and how the eye operates in terms of getting light into the eye, forming that retinal image, transferring that to a neural signal, and then sending it to the brain. And then we'll look at some initial processing in the brain and some of the specialized functional specialization of the components of the brain that are part of the system. Now, this week you have a quiz. I will post a study guide, and the study guide is broken down. It has specific questions. I will not ask you anything that's not on that study guide on the quiz. There's more there than what I'll ask because the quiz is fairly short, just 20 multiple choice questions, and then 1 or 2 short answer questions. But I give you all that information. Nothing is a surprise. If I ever ask you something that's not on a study guide, you can call me on it and I'll throw that question out. So hopefully that helps guide your learning, because again, this is a lot of information, a lot of very dense technical information. We're using our textbook as a tool, and hopefully the lectures. I usually present things in a slightly different way than the book, so hopefully the lectures will help clarify some of the issues. Don't forget, we have hallway conversations. If you do have questions about the content at all, you can post them there or shoot me an email. So have a good week. Contact me if you have any questions, and I will be back next week for another update.